Welcome to DeFi Crypto. Today's daily crypto news. We're gonna check that we're really live in a moment, but I think we're okay. Yes, we're live. Excellent. All right. So today, because of my crazy schedule, we're doing the live news. What time is it? 6:24 Eastern Standard Time, PM Eastern Standard Time, and you know, I try to do the daily news whenever I have the free time. Okay, so sometimes it's going to be early afternoon, sometimes it's going to be late afternoon, sometimes it could be even in late morning or something like that. Anyway, I hope that you didn't miss my Solidex insane APR video today. This is very hot. Okay, don't miss this. Okay, we're getting like crazy several thousand% APRs on the APRs. So if you divide that by 365%, you can get over 10% per day on your money. Now, Solidex brand new, so it's not audited, so be careful. Don't put all your fortune on this, okay? Put reasonable amounts because of the risk of bugs and whatnot, okay? But this is hot. This is based on Andrew Cronje's project, Solidly, not Solidex, Solidly. As you know, if you should definitely follow him and put your notification, because his page is super busy with news about Solidly these days. Lots of things are happening. Big news. Some of them could be very profitable. All right. So apparently 0x Tracker now supports Solidly Finance. I tried to make it work. It didn't work for me. So maybe it works for you, but it didn't work for me. I don't know. This is something I talked about in today's Solidly and Solidex video. You can now use leveraged yield farming. So you can get up to about 15,000% on some liquidity pairs. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. That could be fantastic. Now, yesterday I talked about Solidex in the news before I did the video today. And at that time, there was only $1 billion in TVL over there. Today, it's doubled. It's over $2 billion. So there's a lot of excitement over this project right now. And that's why I decided to make a video, because the rates are totally insane. Totally insane. So it's definitely worth a look. Be aware that, as I keep saying, it's not yet audited. So there are risks. And the interface is not very buggy, but after I deposited, it was kind of difficult to display my deposits. I had to refresh the page, or otherwise it kept flashing on and off, on and off, on and off. So it could be a few bugs here and there. Okay, but I believe the people that are behind this Solidex protocol are probably very good developers. So I wouldn't be too worried, but humans make errors, and until there's an audit, we don't know what bugs might be in there. I'm not worried about any rug pull on this kind of stuff at all. Okay, this project has major partners. Let's have a look. I haven't looked at it. And let me show you what I mean here. So get Solidex Finance. All right, see, I'm not lying. $2.15 billion. Yesterday was about $1 billion. Okay, it's growing super fast. Okay, and here, this is interesting. total solid locked on Solidex. Solid is the solidly token, right? And they control 35.7% of it right now. Okay, that's very, very big. Okay, and that's why they can get a lot of high rewards. Okay, they can vote on pushing the yields up for their people. Like if you invest on this, that's why they're able to give you a higher yield. They're also giving you yield as the sex token. I keep wondering if YouTube is gonna block my account every time I talk about this token. Hopefully not. And yeah, so there's a lot of it that's locked on the project, okay, which is helpful. You want to, currently it's 40% of the total supply locked. Hopefully it's going to get higher and higher. This way that help maintain the price of the token, right? Now, see, I told you that they have their sex partners. So these are the big people that are joining forces with Solidex in order to gain more power over the voting at solidly and raise the interest rates, raise the yields. Okay, all right. So this is the ideas for us liquidity providers. When we invest there, we get a bigger boost and earn a higher yield on our liquidity. That's the point. Okay. So stake solid and earn a share of all platform earnings. That's something that you can do as well. And sex holders, they control the voting power, decide on solid emissions, earn protocol fees, and solidly expansion. Now, audit coming soon, but the code is available. The code is public, so if you're a coder, you want to check it out, maybe you can help them fix bugs or whatever, that's possible. And if you want to know what's going on, well, join their Telegram and Twitter communities. They don't have a Discord yet, as far as I know. All right, so definitely check out my video, okay, to learn how you can take advantage of these pools. You cannot create the LP pairs directly on Solidex. You have to go to Solidly first, okay? And I explain how to do that step by step in my video. All right, so what I did, the rate went up amazingly, I think. Didn't it go up? Let me check after I check this. 3.871% divided by 365. No, the rate went down. Okay, and that makes more sense. Yeah, the rate went down. Welcome. Talk a bit about Wonderland. Well, I could talk a bit about Wonderland. Anything happening at Wonderland right now? Let me check. Twitter. And Wonderland. What's going on? So we're going to check first Daniele's. Is he here? No, I haven't looked at him recently. Daniele. Okay, right here. Anything new here? Okay, they're talking about Ukraine. That's new. Anything else? And he's writing in Russian or Ukrainian, whatever it is. There's not a lot of new stuff going on, as far as I can tell. Because if something becomes very official, Danielle is going to post it here. There could be news. Usually on the Discord, it's like rumors, okay? Unless you know something specific that I'm not aware of. Spartacus, I left Spartacus, although it seems that the guy was the guy who started Spartacus, the dev, went silent for a while, then decided to come back, I think, recently. Last time I checked on the Discord, so it was still live. It was still life in that project. When it comes to Jade, I haven't looked at Jade. We can check here if there's anything new in the Twitter. Jade Protocol. Anything new here? This is from December. That's too old. February 25th from yesterday. Do you guys realize how novel the business model is? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now they claim to have a world-class investment team that has outperformed BDC and ETH for the last 2 months, blah, blah, blah. They secured multiple seed rounds. I don't know. I have not looked at the details of all this stuff. See, if they made any investment, they should put that here, no? Because that was supposed to be the purpose of that project, to create some an investment like a VC, right? A little bit like what Wonderland wanted to do, and Wonderland actually did 2 investments so far. All right, but right now I don't see anything really specific here. So no major news for Wonderland or Jade right now, and Spartacus I don't think. We can check Spartacus. But I'm going to go back to the news, and then I'll come back to you guys and answer your questions directly. Where is this Spartacus protocol? Here. What's going on? Anything new? This November, December 24th, February 24th. They're talking about solidly. Interesting, eh? I don't know what they're talking about that. Anyway, here, but this is from January, so it's a lot. These are old news. There's not a lot of news right now for any of these 3 protocols. So let's forget about that for now. Let's go back to the news. This is something I did talk a little bit about yesterday. You see, they're trying to impose sanctions against Russia because of the invasion of Ukraine that's ongoing. You can post your questions. I'm going to answer them in a few minutes, okay? I'm just going to go through the daily news, and then after that I'll answer everybody's questions. So, what they're doing, SWIFT is the traditional wire transfer network between banks, okay? They charge you an arm and a leg to do your transfers, and they take forever to do it. As opposed to crypto, which takes most of the time takes a few minutes or a few seconds, and typically costs a lot less. So right now, the governments of the world are trying to impose sanctions on Russia, because they don't like the invasion of Ukraine. There are lots of things that you need to look at very clearly. First of all, it can be argued that NATO pushed Russia to get into this conflict. Why am I saying this? There was an agreement a long time ago, that about 30 years ago, that NATO would not put troops and armament closer than about 700 or 800 kilometers from the Russian border. They wouldn't do it east of Germany. Okay? And of course, they did it anyway. So they're right next door to Russia and Lithuania and the Baltic countries and Romania and a bunch of other places really, really close to Russia. So Russia, except for Ukraine, okay, is totally surrounded by NATO. And NATO is inviting Ukraine to join NATO. So if you look at this from a Russian perspective, it's like you want to put troops and weapons right next to my border all around on the European side. So I can understand up to a point that Russian people might feel threatened, okay? I mean, if you put like troops and armament all around your border, my border, I'm gonna say like, what are you guys planning to do, right? It could be a bit worrisome. And that's what Putin has told in the news before going inside Ukraine. So I cannot really blame Putin for reacting to what he considers to be an aggressive move on NATO's part. Okay? So, you got to look at things in the right perspective. From Russia's point of view, they're being aggressed by NATO. And right now, the only big block of land that is not covered with NATO's armament and soldiers is Ukraine. And Ukraine used to be part of Russia a long time ago, all right? And it was divided later and so on, blah, blah, blah. And there's some parts of Ukraine that are more Russian than Ukrainian. And, Russia says, well, we should take care of those poor people, poor Russians that are in Ukraine and that are being oppressed by Ukrainians and blah, 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 blah. So I don't buy the politics on either side of this, okay? And I don't buy the Russian politics. I don't buy the Western politics on this. I'm just looking at the facts, okay? And you got to understand the motivation, okay? Now, there's another thing that I think is going on. I think, welcome everybody. I think that Putin is making his move right now because he thinks that the sanctions are not going to hurt Russia that much. Probably because he managed to establish some I think that crypto is important enough at the moment, okay, for Russia to be able to use crypto for international trade and not be affected too much by the ban that we're seeing here, okay? So the banking ban, okay, that's and most of these currencies are US dollars and up to a point euros. I don't think it's going to have an effect as dramatic on Russia that the West was hoping for. Probably because a lot of people are going to be using a lot of Russians are going to be using crypto for international trade. Now don't forget also that India is a major customer, and India is trying to bypass the US dollar altogether to trade with Russia because they need resources from Russia, okay? Also, it's not going to be fantastically effective because the EU, the European Union, needs gas, natural gas, and petroleum coming from Russia, okay? So, I don't think it's going to work very, very well, these sanctions here, all right? Of course, I'm totally against the invasion of Ukraine by Putin. I think that's a bad move. But you know, there's a lot of people who are going to die and suffer from this, and you know, I think it's deplorable. But right now, I think that Putin is probably going to win on this one, or at least I don't know if he's going to conquer all of Ukraine, but at least some parts of Ukraine are probably going to become Russian. That's what I'm expecting, but we'll see. Anyway, so this is what I just explained. Crypto could bypass President Biden's so-called devastating sanctions on Russian banks and elites. Okay, they're probably going to be using Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to bypass this. Yeah, welcome everybody. I'll look at your questions in the second part of the video today. All right, and they keep talking about that here, the same thing. Crypto eyes as sanctions pressure mounts on Putin. Now, what I really don't like is that they're going to, the West, United States, Canada, Europe, blah, 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 are going to use this as a pretext to impose very, very strict regulations on crypto for their own citizens. They're going to say, oh, look, Putin and the oligarchs in Russia are using crypto to do criminal activities. Okay? Crypto is only used by criminals, so we cannot have our citizens use crypto and blah, blah, blah. So they're going to want to try to take away your rights to use crypto because they're going to use Putin as a scapegoat for this. Okay? That's what I'm expecting. Okay? So be very careful of regulations that are coming very soon on crypto. Most likely this year we're going to see very tough crypto laws and rules, especially in Europe and in North America. So expect that, okay? So it might be more difficult to onboard and crypto. I don't think they're going to ban it altogether, although in Europe they were trying to ban it altogether. The EU tried to pass that a few days ago, but now it's on hold. Anyway, we'll see. All right. Now, there's a talk about stagflation right now. This could be worrisome. We didn't have stagflation for a long time, okay, about 40 years. We had that somewhat in the 70s and early 80s. That's when inflation was very high and the economy was stagnant. There was very little economic growth. We might be getting into this. We're not sure yet. But that could be worrisome up to a point. Okay. Now, crypto is might not be affected as much as these guys expect because what I saw here. See, like, this makes no sense here. It says stagflation is a reality, says Bob Yacchino, chief strategist at Path Trading Partners, and so on. Because of the positive correlation between crypto and the NASDAQ, it keeps getting tighter and tighter as time goes on. The stagflation playbook could certainly hurt the crypto markets. Now, here's his prediction that doesn't make any sense. He predicts high demand for treasury bonds. Treasury bonds. Okay, if inflation is at 7.5% in the US, and treasury bonds, okay, I don't think they're going to have more than 1 or 2% in 2022. Because the Federal Reserve is very scared of raising interest rates too fast, although they need to fight inflation, because they think that they're going to put the economy to a standstill and shut down all liquidity. So I think people, instead of buying treasury bonds at 1% or 2%, they're going to go into crypto because we can get 20% on stable coins in crypto very easily. Just go on Anchor, on Yearn, and on other places, and you can easily get beat inflation 3 times over. So I don't buy the argument totally. Okay, of course, some entities, public companies, most of them are going to be limited in their capacity to get into crypto because of laws and regulations, but it's going to be too tempting. They're going to want to do it. They're going to push the government to change the regulation. They're going to want to do this. Okay, when you have trillions and trillions of dollars that are rotting at as near 0% interest, while they could get 20% in crypto, the government's going to have to respond to those trillions of dollars in a positive fashion at some point. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going to happen at some point. Gold, yes, I do believe that gold is going to go up. Okay, everybody should have some physical gold in their portfolio, a little bit, a small percentage, but have some just in case everything goes to hell in a handbasket. Real estate, I think, is going to be mitigated by the higher interest rates. So I don't buy all this stuff here that he's saying. He's bullish on small cap stocks. Small cap stocks are those that are going to be hurt the most by higher interest rates. So again, I don't quite buy his predictions here. That doesn't make that much sense to me. All right, so, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see, right? Now, this is something I thought was kind of interesting. The CryptoPunks maybe are not as exciting as they used to be. They used to be number one in the NFT market, and now they're losing a lot of their shine, apparently, a lot of their glitter. Some guy wanted to sell 104 of them at Sotheby's auctions, and because he couldn't get the price he wanted, he took them off from the sale. How much he wanted to get from this? I think he wanted to get 30 million or something. Yeah, so he was expecting to sell them for 20 to 30 million dollars, but the highest bid before the sale was only 14 million. So he said, I'm keeping them. So right now, there's not as much demand for CryptoPunks as he was expecting to get. Okay, so the market is cooling down on the top-rated NFTs at the moment. Okay. All right. Next item. Oh, this. I've done a video about this, and I don't know. Not a lot of people watched it, and I'm like, why not? This is a great project. So I was playing with. This is a screenshot that I took, and I made this really amazing little profit there. Considering, okay, I'm not a trader I haven't been trained as a trader, okay? But I found that using the Perpetual Protocol, it's so damn easy to do some trades, and some of them are really, 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 really profitable. Of course, you can lose your money just as fast as you can make it, okay? It's risky. But I was looking at the chart, and to me, it was pretty obvious that ETH was on its way up. I just didn't know how high up it was going to get. I saw these red candles, and then I started putting my bet around here. I always consider it as a bet. I put it around here, and I said, okay, let's just let it go. Now, the nice thing with this, you can get up to 10x leverage, okay? So I put a tiny amount of money. I put $150 in this, and my leverage was almost 10x. I think it was around 8 or 9. And so I was, my 150 was the equivalent of betting 2,377. And in a matter of a few hours, I essentially doubled my money. I had 150. Now I made a gain of 172. I was super lucky. I barely know what I'm doing, but you know, for those that are interested in trying this stuff, try with small amounts and see if you can get the hang of it. It's not that hard. It's a lot easier than I expected it to be. And this is the actual live thing. Now you see, I like to look at my method. Okay, it's not the best method in the world, but the method I like to use. I'm looking at this is for ETH. Okay, and I'm looking at the moving average, the yellow line here. And when I see something like this, I think when the moving average is about to go over the price line, okay, and I see a lot of red candles appearing, I think that's a signal that ETH is going to take a dive. So if I were to buy, if I were to take a position right now, I would go short, okay, and I would put a little bit, let's say I put something like this here, and then I can decide to leverage or not, okay. All right, so it's gonna let me leverage or it's not gonna let me leverage. Hello, I'm not sure. Typically it would let me leverage, but right now it doesn't. Because I'm trying to make a demonstration. What's going on? Am I on the wrong network? Let me put it on optimism. You need to be on optimism to use this. Come on, MetaMask. Why is it frozen? Anyway, MetaMask doesn't want to respond. Perfect. All right, now it does. Phantom network, no wonder. That's why it's not working. Okay, now we are on optimism. Can we get the chart? Yes or no? All right, I want to get on the short side. Oh, why is everything slow when I'm on live? All right, this should appear at some point. Right, there we go. So you see what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think that yellow moving average line is going to go over the price line, okay? And I think we're going to see a bunch of red candles. I don't know. What is that? Please refresh your browser. Oh my God, I just did. Trying to do a demonstration for you guys and everything goes against me because we're live, right? Crazy. Anyway, at some point maybe it's going to appear for us, but I think it's a very interesting tool, and it's a lot faster and easier than investing, you know, tens of thousands of dollars in ETH, okay? You can get the same profit, okay, just investing a tiny amount of money. And if you invest a tiny amount of money and you lose it because you guessed wrong, well, it's not the end of the world. You lost like 50 bucks, 100 bucks, whatever, okay? Instead of losing like 2-3 ETH, you know? Oh my God, what's going on with this thing? Yes, show up. Okay. Happy or not? All right, I want to do a demo. Okay. I think it's working now. So we're going to go short when you do short, you take a short position. That means you think the price is going to go down. Okay? And right now, see, I think it's on its way down. Oh, again, I don't want this disconnected from the server. Okay, well, whatever. It doesn't want me to do a demonstration. The heck with it. Whatever. You can try this on your own. I'm going to make more videos about perpetuals, and not just with this one. There's Dopex as well that I want to play with. There's DYDX that I want to play with, and I'm going to make some more videos of this, and with more elaborate strategies than just buying long and going short. You know, like. So we can do more sophisticated strategies, reduce our risk, try to get some passive income out of this stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. But on some strategies, you need to use more than one platform at a time. So you could use this platform plus, let's say, DYDX at the same time. So you go long on one, short on the other. And they cancel out, but you're going to get... you can earn some money with that funding rate thing there. So we're going to try to develop a video, explain the strategy in great detail so that you understand how to make profits with this stuff, okay? But anyway, even the simple strategies, as I showed you with my screenshot, it's possible to make some good money if you guess it right. Right now, I'm guessing that this is going to crash. We can look at BTC and see if it does the same thing. Because everything seems to start with Bitcoin. Oh my God, it's slow. Yeah, see, the orange line is above the price already, and it's pushing down. So I'm thinking we're going to have a lot of red candles. I don't know for how long. It could be for an hour, and then it comes back up. Who knows? But if you watch it carefully, you could make a tidy little profit. It's kind of nice, considering the really small investment. Okay, enough of this. Let's look at your questions. All right. Okay, I did talk about Wonderland already. Spartacus and Jade, talk about that. To be clear, my question is, do you keep almost dead on forks, or do you sell it at a loss? On some projects, I decided to sell. On some other own forks, I decided to keep them because I thought that the team was, you know, pretty good, and that they're trying to develop the project into something better. Okay, so I'm still in Wonderland, for instance. I'm still hopeful that Wonderland is going to put its act together and find the right people to manage the project. Hector, I'm still bullish on Hector, and Nemesis a bit. Also, I like the team there. Many of the other home forks are not doing so well, but those are some of those that I keep an eye on. I just bought some BNB and BTC. You think those are good choices? Well, it depends what you want to do, eh? Are you buying like the actual tokens, or are you buying perps here, like perpetuals? Okay, it depends what you want to do. Are you buying them for like the long term? Bitcoin long term, I think, is a good long term investment. Okay. Why? Because very limited supply and very huge demand, and it's one of the most traded tokens ever. It's everywhere. Okay, so my feeling is that although right now the price looks like crap, and it's what, 50% or down from its all-time high at least, I think it's going to go up over $100,000 at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year or whenever, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go up quite a bit over the next several years, okay? Because more and more people are gonna get into crypto, despite the fact that governments will try to impose a lot of regulations and make it difficult and blah, blah, blah. A lot of people are going to start to understand Bitcoin and going to understand crypto in general and get into DeFi and more sophisticated things like these things, okay? Yeah, so Bitcoin definitely. BNB. BNB is mostly used on Binance, the centralized exchange, and the Binance Smart Chain. It's not a bad investment or anything like that. It just, Binance has been trying to put some growth into the Binance Smart Chain and DeFi in general. But lately, I think because market conditions are not being amazing, if we look at DeFi Llama, and we look at the chains, we can see that, if we can get there, see for a long time, Binance Smart Chain was number 2, okay? And now it's down to number 3. And Terra is still taking off. Look at this, 1 month change, 28%, 7-day change, 33%, 12% 1 day change. Terra is on a tear. It's taking over the world. Binance Smart Chain is having a hard time. So if we look at it right now, you're going to see what I mean in the graph. See, last year it took off like crazy because it was the only major, you know, blockchain that would compete against Ethereum at that time. Okay, there was not a lot of significant other blockchains. Most of them were tiny. So there was a big push, and then around May, that's when Elon Musk started tweeting about Bitcoin, and then everything crashed. Right? Don't let Elon Musk near a cell phone again. Okay? And so everything crashed, and it did not quite recover. Okay, it's been, you know, having a difficult time for the rest of 2021, and 2022 is just not looking so bright yet. On the other hand, Binance is investing about $1 billion in helping developers program new stuff for Binance Smart Chain and DeFi in general. So Binance is investing a lot of money into this. So I don't know when, but at some point I'm expecting that it's going to go up. Okay, so don't despair. BNB probably going to be better long term. Now, a lot of people have criticism against Binance Smart Chain because it's not decentralized. It's very centralized. There's only 21 nodes, okay, compared to the tens of thousands of nodes you got on Ethereum, for instance. So in terms of security, it's not perfect, okay? And it could be a lot more decentralized. I don't know why they only wanted 21 nodes. Maybe it was to make it faster and cheaper. Okay, usually that's one of the issues. Either you're very decentralized, but it becomes slower and more expensive, or you centralize things and it's very fast and very cheap. So it's difficult to find a middle ground. What else? This is new. Says to be bullish days will come soon. I hope so. I hate bearish days, but there's a lot of things right now that are making me think that it might take a while before we see bullish days again. Inflation is very, very high in the United States and in Europe. It's at least 5% in Europe, and it's at least 7.5% in the US. Unless this changes, which would be surprising, but it's possible. Okay? If inflation suddenly drops, okay, the market's going to have a big push. Okay? It's going to be very bullish. Because if the inflation drops considerably, the central banks don't need to raise interest rates. If they don't need to raise interest rates, it's easier to borrow. And if it's easier to borrow, it's easier to make investment on the stock market, in crypto, and in real estate. Okay, like building new houses, and also building new factories for production. Okay, but right now, until I hear otherwise, the data shows that things should be bearish. Okay, interest rates are very likely to go up next month in March. The market's probably gonna tank around the time of when people know that they're gonna raise interest rates. So, I'm not overly confident that we're going to have a bull market in the next few days. But who knows? I could be totally wrong and be surprised by the events. Who knows, right? What will you do if Putin invades Canada? I'm okay, because I moved out of Canada and I'm in Thailand now. Well, I hope my mom learns Russian. That might be useful, right? No, I don't think there's any physical reason or economical reason for Putin to invade Canada. What's the point? What's the point? Another. It's like adding a second Siberia to. It's already a super huge country. I don't think that's necessary. No, the way I see it, Putin sees a lot more threat on the European side of his on the borders on the European side of the country. And as I explained earlier in the video, I think he's somewhat justified, because NATO looks very threatening. Okay, NATO positioned itself all around Russia on the eastern border, on the western border of the eastern border of Europe, but western border of Russia. So, except in Ukraine, right? And NATO is asking Ukraine to join NATO. So Putin says, no way in hell, we're not going to let you do that. You already put all your troops in the Baltic countries and Romania and all that stuff. I'm not letting you, in Poland as well, I'm not letting you do that in Ukraine. And that's his justification for the war. I don't think Putin will invade Canada. I totally agree with you. I live in Canada. The US will back us. They have to with NATO. And what do you want to do with Canada? It's like just another big wasteland, I don't know. What do you think about Klima? Well, let's have a look at Klima. Klima. I'm going to go to Twitter. I'm going to look at the news about Klima. Last time I looked at Klima, the price looks like crap, right? But the project's still alive. And it seems to be reasonably vibrant, as far as I can tell. There it is. Klima. All right. See, we got news from the 23rd, incentivizing smart, clean money together, flagship Klima Infinity launch partner, Echo, disrupting traditional banks, blah, blah, blah. They're still very busy. They're still very busy. They're still on track with their projects. Klima DAO plays the role of the decentral bank that governs a tokenized carbon economy for the benefits of refi. ensuring long-term liquidity and providing predictable demand via bonds. You know, they're still pushing. You know, I don't think they're changing much. Yeah. They're still pursuing their original goal of helping suck out all the carbon emissions. Okay, so you know, I think they're doing the right thing. Okay, this is one of those projects that. It's an own fork, but it did not follow the crazy, super high APY war that we saw for a while, and they're sticking to their plan. Okay, they haven't changed anything about that. They're still sticking to their eco-friendly plan. I'm hoping they're going to be successful. Okay, it's still very early to tell. But, you know, I think they still have a chance of being successful. It looks okay to me. See, and they're doing partnerships with a bunch of other projects. They're not just sitting on their hands and doing nothing. They're quite busy. I think we are in fear, and the market will go up soon. Yeah, it's possible. There's a lot of fear. If we look at what's fear, this one. Where are we now? There's a lot of fear. It's not extreme fear. Extreme fear would be down here, but there's quite a bit of fear right now. Okay, this is from an hour ago. So you know, once you're on the red side here, it's kind of a bearish sentiment. Okay, people are not very excited right now about buying Bitcoin and so on. But that might change overnight. It depends. You know, maybe there's going to be some good news somewhere that's going to push people in the greed zone. Okay, and then everything's bullish, everything's rosy, and you know, Bitcoin's going to go to 200,000. Who knows, right? But I cannot predict that at the moment. Generally speaking, I think we have a bearish sentiment across the market, but who knows? Okay, I agree. Where do you live when you are in Canada? I lived in Montreal and I lived in Toronto, but I haven't been to Montreal in 35 years, and I haven't been to Toronto in 20. So it's a long time ago. Yeah. All right, you guys have more questions? I'm ready to answer anything. Go for it. All right, before we shut down the video live feed. All right. Tomorrow we're probably going to do the video around the same time. Okay, so be prepared for that. Don't forget to put the bell notification so you know when I'm having these live videos. Okay, otherwise it's going to be difficult for you to follow, because I have to change the time slot all the time because my schedule is all over the place, and some days I'm so busy, and it's like if I have a free hour, then I just turn on the live and I do a video. All right, Vader will be huge. Mix of Ohm, Luna, Rune, and ETH. They have their stable, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea who Vader is, and I don't know. Questions. Anybody's got questions? Time to ask your questions. All right. Yes, what do we have? Do you think that the Abracadabra Degenbox is still worth investing? Oh, yes. Definitely. Let's have a look at it. Abra. Okay, and we're going to have to change to Ethereum. Yes, I'm aware there are no pools on this. All right, come on, Meta. MetaMask, wake up. Oh my God. Okay, now it's waking up. Okay, so we change to Ethereum. Okay. Now it's loading. One thing that could I would really like in DeFi is faster protocols. Gosh. Okay, the Degenbox right here. Look at all the pools here. Okay. Look at the how many millions or thousands of dollars are in each pool, and look at this one, and look at all the rest. This one is like 10 times bigger than any other one. Okay, it used to be double that. Okay, but because of the Wonderland fiasco and train wreck and all that jazz and Sifu scandal and blah 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 blah, a lot of people got scared. Okay, and they took their money out very fast. Okay, and that created a lot of instability. The meme token got off peg a little bit, and the UST got off peg a little bit as well. So a lot of people got scared and took out their money. So about half of them took out their money. It's still $735 million. That's huge. This is the biggest use case for UST in all DeFi. Okay, biggest. Okay, you want to know what pushed the price of Luna over $50 last year? This Degenbox here, that pushed the price of Luna above $50 by itself. Just that thing. Okay, why? Because you're pairing two. Okay, you're depositing a stable coin and you're borrowing a stable coin. It's okay. The price fluctuations between the two are minimal. Okay, it's typically on a normal day less than 1% difference. Of course, when things went crazy with Wonderland, okay, it was a little bit more than that. Okay, it was a few percent. Okay. MIM was off peg by 2-3%, and there was a big dip at some point, and people were trying to crash it, and whales, they try anything. But normally, this is one of the few leveraged pools that are that safe. Okay, because it's stable against stable. There are not a lot of pools where you can do this. Okay, where you can, do a lot of looping and multiply your earnings so much. I mean, you can start at the UST deposits on Anchor give you 19.5%. On this, if you go to the maximum, I mean, you could go theoretically here. Of course, it says high risk. But, even here, the chances of getting liquidated are not that crazy high. This is a lot safer. This is almost 100% safe. Okay, you're never going to see stablecoin drop by 50%, even if the end of the world happened. Okay. So I could go up to 70. That's still reasonable, because we'd have to drop by 30%. That's very unusual for a stablecoin. Yes, I think it's a very, very, very popular pool. Okay. Again, just be reasonable in case the end of the world happens. Okay, but you can definitely earn close to 80, 100% APY on your UST deposits because of the looping. Okay, it's relatively safe. Relatively safe. It's not safe, but it's relatively safe. Okay, so don't put all your portfolio on this. Put a reasonable amount of money on this if you want to play it, but I think it's still worth the shot. Don't forget it's on Ethereum, so gas fees are pretty high, although because the NFT market cooled down quite a bit, I think the gas fees are a lot lower now. Okay, is Charge DeFi still good? I can have a look at it. Charge DeFi boardroom. I need to change to Binance. Binance. Come on, MetaMask, help me. Good God, wake up. Now, the people, I did a video about Charge DeFi. The devs there are very smart. They're not idiots, okay? And they're changing the protocol, they're stepping away from bonds, and they're trying to make it work better, okay? And right now we are above peg, okay? As you can see, the TWAP is over $1. So if you deposit money on in the charge, okay, it's going to generate income for you. Okay, it's going to generate, what is it? Static, is it? Yeah, static. So you can earn some static here. See, in my case, I did a deposit on this. Yeah. See, I deposited some charge. Now, the charge when I bought it was a lot more expensive, so I lost a lot on the charge. But you see, it made me $20 in the last few days, so that's not so bad. Okay. Again, it's risky. Okay, don't put all your money on these things, but you can definitely make money. See this? I made $20 here out of 119. That's not so bad in the last few days. Okay. All right. So. You think Chargify is still good? Yes, you asked the same question twice. Do you have an advice on the staking of XJOE? I understand that it after the 28th, it will no longer accrue fees on the exchange. I have a bit in Abracadabra, wondering if I should remove it. Okay, I don't know what they're doing at Trader Joe. They're explaining it somewhere. They might be changing the product. Where is it again? In stake, right? And we need to change for the avalanche. Okay. As you can see here on right here, XJOE is withdraw only. That means it's going to be deprecated. They're going to delete this. It's not going to exist anymore. So if you're using XJOE on Abracadabra, probably a good idea to take it out. I think they're replacing it with these other Joes. Okay, I'm not sure what these are. I haven't been informed. The VE Joe, that's based on Andrew Cronje's new business model with Solidly. Okay, when you see VE there, and then you got R Joe. I don't know what this is, and S Joe. I think they're multiplying the Joes, and I don't know exactly what they're doing. So I'm guessing that some of them are going to receive income somehow. But it's not really explained to us here, is it? Maybe it's on their Twitter or inside there somewhere else. Where's the Twitter? Don't they have a Twitter? Twitter. Here. Maybe it's on the Twitter. I don't want to open Discord right now. I would have to put in my password and my secret code and all that jazz. Too complicated. All right. Stake Joe and earn stablecoin. Deploying this Friday, 25th. Details to follow soon. So something is happening. You're gonna stake your Joe and earn stablecoins. That sounds great. What is this stuff? Microservice and it was I don't know what that has to do with anything. Yield yak party, whatever. There's a bunch of stuff going on here. Yield yak. Deposit close in 2 hours. No, not related. I don't know. I don't know. The only message I saw that seems to be related was the one at the top where it says you stake your Joe and you're going to get stable coins. But it didn't explain why we have 3 different Joe tokens now instead of just Joe, XJOE, I mean. We'll have to look it up. I'll have to look it up somewhere. I don't know where the information is. Yeah, so Stephen, yeah, I think you should probably take your XJOE out of Abracadabra because I think it's going to disappear. And it's going to be replaced by other, I mean, it looks like it's being replaced by 3 different tokens, but I don't know how they work yet. I haven't looked into this yet. Okay, more questions, and if not, we're going to shut down the live feed. All right, questions. Are you still on something finance? Okay, sorry, my screen cuts on the right side and I can't read, okay? So which one? John Smith. Can you rephrase your question so I can see what you're asking me, because I can't see. It's asking me, are you still on something finance? I cannot see what something is. So can you just type the missing word and then I'll answer your question. All right. More questions. Okay, which one? Unite Finance. Yeah, I am. I haven't sold it. I haven't looked at it in over a week. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. Probably doesn't look too amazing. It just at the price of one tanked quite a bit, and this thing followed as well. Ugh. Switch network for Harmony. Now if we go on Boardroom, we should see, okay, so the price is above 12, that's good, and still getting a decent APR. If you invested in U shares, you should be earning some decent income out of this. It used to be much higher, of course, when they launch, right? And you know, like all the zone 4s, they started with very high TWAP, and then the TWAP drops, and then after that, it's very close to the actual price of the token they're supposed to be mimicking, right? So I'm not surprised it's only at 1.1. I think at the beginning it was around 12 or something. The TWAP, it was very high. Yeah, so. Of course, there's a period where you're going to make crazy high income with tomb forks, and there's going to be a period where you're going to make a little bit of income, and there's a period you're going to make no income, and then you're going to try to push it back above TWAP, and then you make income again. It depends what kind of mechanisms they've got in place. Sometimes it's automated, sometimes they burn the tokens by themselves, sometimes whatever. They use a bonding system, which apparently doesn't seem to be working. And a lot of ohm forks are abandoning that, and they're using now protocol-owned liquidity on some projects, like 2 ohm and 3 ohm. They're doing that. There's all kinds of mechanisms that trying to. It's very experimental. It's very experimental. So always look at all these forks as experiments, and you are the guinea pigs. Okay, remember that. They're testing the projects on you. Okay, and they see if it works or not. Okay. Meanwhile, you can make money or lose money with that. What are your thoughts on the Nexus protocol? We can have a look. Nexus protocol. Where are we? Web app. The new ones. Oh, it's still not up. All right. This might be fun. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think they're going to use a strategy similar to the one that I explained to you guys, where you deposit your UST on Anchor, you take the AUST receipt, and you borrow a token on Mirror, and then swap that token and buy more UST and deposit them on Anchor and loop, like I did in the video. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think that's what oh no, I'm wrong. They're trying to do an automated delta neutral yield strategy. Yeah, you can definitely do that on Mirror. Those are fun, and they're pretty stable because the tokens are based on stocks. They're synthetic stocks. And synthetic stocks, at least those that they've chosen, the price fluctuations are minimal. It's like 1-2% per day, typically, maybe 3% at the most when things go crazy. But yeah, the risk is not that high. Okay, so your delta neutral strategy can stay very stable. I kept mine for like at least 6 months. Nothing bad happened, and I kept earning some yield on that. So that was okay. But let's have a look at the Psi token and see if it tanked even further. Yes, it did. That's been my biggest disappointment on about Nexus. I love Nexus. The technology, the programming in it is fantastic. Okay. They made it impossible for your leverage, your loan, okay, to get liquidated, which is fantastic. Okay, I love that concept. However, they were paying us with this crazy ass farm token, which basically, unfortunately, I bought around here and it went down here. So we lost a lot of money on this one, unfortunately. Very, very bad. But right now, I mean, if you were to do it now and you look at the price, it pretty much at the bottom. I mean, it's like 2.7 cents. It could go down further, but it's not so bad for the last, almost a month now, the last month. It's been relatively stable. But who knows, it could crash even further. Okay, so there is a lot of risks. But I like the vaults. Okay, these are really good because you can try to make money on Anchor manually with this. And if you do it manually, you're going to be making money at this pink line here. While on Nexus, your earnings are going to be much higher. Okay, at least for B Luna. especially now, the rates have increased quite a bit. It used to be around 8% here. But now you can increase your LTV to 61%, which was not possible before. 60% used to be the liquidation level. Now they increased it, what is it, 75%, something like that? They increased it quite a bit, okay? So it's a lot, you can borrow a lot more, so you can leverage more, and if you leverage more, you can increase your APR here, okay? Now, biggest problem is that you get paid in these stupid side tokens that keep dropping, okay? So again, don't put all your money on this, there's a lot of risk. Okay, it maxed out the anchor APY. Yeah, well, that's what it's doing, right? It optimizes what you can do manually on Anchor. All right. Russia has to fight back, or they will be taken over by NATO. Well, that's what I explained, right? NATO and the allied nations lied to Russia. They said, "Oh no, we're not going to get too close to your border. We're going to keep it. We're not going further east than Germany." And then they went to Poland, and then they went to the Baltic nations. Okay, and then they went to Romania and a bunch of other places. I mean, just think, the U.S. has 75 military bases in Germany alone. Okay, I don't know how much in the rest of Eastern Europe they've got, but they've got quite a few also. Okay, so I mean, if you're looking at this from the Russian side, say we're surrounded on the west side by all those NATO military bases, and I would feel nervous too. Okay, I would feel nervous too. So it's not a good situation for anybody. You know, it's like the way I see it. I think NATO went as far as they could, and they said, "Oh, we went here, Russia did nothing. We went here, Russia did nothing. We went here, Russia did nothing." And then Russia started, you know, with Crimea, and now they're going after Ukraine, because NATO has invited Ukraine to join NATO, which was like the stupidest thing. I mean, how much more provocation do you need to do, okay, before you think that Russia is going to react? I mean, you know, it's like asking for it in a way. I think that was a stupid move on NATO's part. And although I totally against any war in Ukraine right now, I can understand why Russia felt threatened and decided that it was time to act. I don't agree with it, but I can understand it. But there are many Ukrainians in Canada. What if Putin invades Canada to capture? How many Ukrainians are there in Canada? Oh my God. Let's find out. How many Ukrainians in Canada? Yeah, they're going to invade Canada for how many? There were an estimated 1.3 million people across Canada that was full or partial Ukrainian origin. So maybe the grandmother was from Ukraine. Okay. Now, don't forget, the majority of them are Canadian-born now. Okay. This is a long time ago. Okay. They came to Canada a long time ago, most of them. Okay. Canada's got what, 36 million people. Okay, it doesn't have a lot of population, and you want to catch Ukrainians for what? What do you want to do with them? Use them as pets? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Okay, why invade Canada because there are some Ukrainians there? Well, I mean, would be very silly because Canada shares the largest border in the world with the United States. Okay, so the United States is going to feel threatened. The United States is going to want to retaliate. That's going to just escalate the war. Okay, and we're going to get like this close to nuclear annihilation. You know, we're going to kill ourselves and burn down the planet just for that. Not realistic. Not realistic. I'm not saying it's impossible. People have done very stupid things in the past. That would be the stupidest one ever. But I don't know. I don't think Putin wants to do that. That sounds a little bit silly. Crypto is here to stay. Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. But a lot of governments are going to try to kill it. And we're going to see that this year. There's going to be a lot of regulations trying to, in North America and in Europe, that is going to try to limit the use of crypto, make it more and more difficult for people to get into crypto and so on. Because of what's going on with Russia. They're going to say, oh, terrorists are using crypto, so we're going to use the Anti-Terrorist Act of 1925 or whatever, and they're going to say, oh yeah, we're going to spy on everybody that is doing crypto transactions, and then we're going to tax the hell out of them, and we're going to make it difficult for them to use crypto and blah 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 blah. So be careful. Be careful. Don't keep all your money on centralized exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, and KuCoin and all that. Okay? Take your money off centralized exchanges, or if you're an active trader on those things, well, keep the minimum that you need to do your trading, and put the rest in decentralized wallets, okay, or offline wallets. Is it safe to invest in Donkey Finance, 85% stablecoin, USDT, AVAX? Well, I would have to look at it. Are you investing in the stock market? If yes, in what? I'm very conservative when it comes to the stock market. I'm just going to, you know, put money in the S&P 500. You know, you get the Vanguard ETF that mimics the S&P 500. I like Vanguard because the management fees are super low, and I don't need no management fees on an index fund. So that's what I play my bets with mostly. I use it like a retirement fund, you know. So the point of that ETF is like you put a little bit of money on it every month. Okay, it's gonna grow with the economy, right? And when there's a down, the price the market goes down. Well, because you invest the same amount every month, now you're buying more shares with your investment. So if you put $100 in it every month, now your $100 buys more shares than when the market is down and when the market is up. So and then when the market comes back, well, now you have more shares that go up. So you know you benefit in the long term anyway. You don't need to risk, you know, go really crazy risky on the stock market. If you want to play risky stuff, use crypto. And crypto, the fun part with crypto, you can use really small amounts for your bets. Like I showed the Perpetual Protocol. I put only $150. I got lucky enough, I managed to double the money. But I could have lost it all. Okay, so again, for risky stuff, use tiny amounts, you know, amounts you don't mind losing, you know, because those are gambles. But on the stock market, I don't make too many big gambles, okay? It's more costly. It's more costly, it's slower. Also, what I don't like about the stock market, you're limited to certain hours, blah, 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 okay? I prefer sticking to crypto. I can bet as small as I want, as big as I want. I can trade 24/7. Okay, there's no limit. Much easier. But definitely everybody should have you know, some stocks in their general portfolio. And personally, I like to play safe and use index funds like the S&P 500. So I put my money on Vanguard because Vanguard has the lowest fees as well. Okay, Donkey Finance. I'm gonna have to look at it. I don't know which pool you're talking about. Donkey dashboard. Okay, what do we have here? Which one did you talk about? USDT AVAX. This one, 85% up to 85% APY. But you have to look at the chart here, okay? Because they're putting money in various DeFi projects, and that's how you know if what kind of risk you've got here. So what do you got? Okay, so they're on Trader Joe 11 and Defi. Can we view this bigger? No, it won't show us. Yeah. They should do that. There should be a way to view what's in there. It's hard to tell the risk. Because they say Trader Joe 11. I'm not familiar with 11. Defi. But, you know, I'd like to be able to see this darn chart. Is it here? No. All right. It looks interesting, but it's hard to evaluate the risk unless I know the actual protocols that are on it. Okay. Now, be aware that on strategies like this, if they're using 2 or 3 different protocols on top of Donkey, you have the coding risk of each one. Okay, so if let's say there's 4 protocols together in that strategy, you got to trust 4 different sets of codes, right? And also now you have you can be any of these could be hacked by some hacker at some point. Okay, so it does increase your risk in a way. Okay, because instead of having your money at only one place, it's on several. On top of that, what is risky is this bridge here. Okay, a lot of hackers try to hack into bridges because there's a lot of money that moves through. Okay, and some bridges are not very safe. Okay, I don't know how safe the AVAX network bridge is. Okay, so again, be prudent. Don't put all your money on a single vault like this. Okay, just because of the added risk of having a bridge and at least 3 or 4 different protocols that you have to worry about. Okay, so be careful. But it looks like a very interesting opportunity at 85% APY. There are several interesting opportunities here. But this is stablecoin, this one also. This one, what is that? N-share. I'm not familiar with N-share. But yeah, so you got like 3 stablecoin that look interesting. Yeah. So I would put a little bit in this and maybe a little bit on this one as well. This one's a lot lower, but it's still way above inflation. But it's probably the safest one also, if we look at it. Yeah, it's got less layers, okay. And does it have a bridge? It doesn't show any bridge, so that could be even safer than the other one. Let's look at BUSD. Oh, you have several BUSDs. Okay. All right. Typically, the safest ones usually have the lowest yield and the smallest number of protocols. Okay. This one, I don't know how they do it. But anyway, it's worth trying to figure out what these protocols are listed here. There's a lot of protocols. I'm not sure how they interact and all that. There's got to be a way to see bigger, but I don't know why we're not seeing it. Do we have to hit open? Is that how it works? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so bridge phantom, bridge to AVAX, bridge. So the three bridges here. Bridges increase your risk. Let's see, bridge, Taurus, I don't know that one, Tether, Donkey, Beats, and Solo. So there's several protocols here that seem to be in use as well. But I kind of worry about having all those bridges, okay? Yeah, so you have to be careful with that. If there's a lot of funds bridged over, that does attract hackers. And if we open here, what do we have? USD Vault, Revault, Donkey. Yeah, that doesn't look too risky, this one. It depends what's in Revault. I don't know. I would have to check that protocol. I'm not familiar with Revault. You always check on defisafety.com to see how risky each protocol is. Okay? Because I don't know that one. All right. We're going to shut down. It's almost an hour and a half. Any last question? Last call. Last questions. Any questions? There's a lag, that's why I'm waiting. It might take a minute before your question pops up on my screen. Okay, questions? Last questions? No last questions? Are you sure? Just make it, okay. All right. Oops, what do we have here? Thanks for your advice. My pleasure. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating as well. Don't forget, subscribe, ring the bell, okay? This way you get notified because the time of my live daily news is random. So if you want to watch it, turn on the notification so you know when it's happening, okay? All right. Thank you, everybody.